Okay? If you've decided...
So you left everything. You left everything, like all the furniture and everything in the house, yeah?
Bro, I left her with everything. So if you're going to leave, and this is now 2022, once you realize you made your mistake, once you realize that you made your mistake, that you should have never even been married in the first place, just leave. Don't sit anybody down. Don't have those discussions. Don't do whatever. It will never work. Just if you've made your decision. If you've not made your decision, stay in the marriage. Some of you are meant for marriage. Some of these marriages are working. They are wonderful. Okay? But if you've made your decision that you want to leave, don't let anything hold you back. Don't have something that you can hold on to. Like there's a guy who came here some time back, and I will not mention his name, but he said he's giving himself 7 years so that his daughter can have grown to an age where she's 18 and then leave. 7 years and then leave. Bro, if you're giving yourself even a month, you're not leaving material.
Man, it's crazy. It's 7 years frustrations and misery.
7 years of you.
7 years going through it.
7 years, maybe she'll even poison you while you're at it. If you're going to leave, leave. If you don't want to leave, stay and shut the fuck up and stop listening to these spaces. All right, thank you, Kamau.
All right.
Let's see. I see there's a lady here. Miss Djibouti, are you here?
Andrew, oh my God, it's been so long. How are you doing?
Who is this shouting here like a mad woman? Why are you shouting, Miss Djibouti?
In North America, you know how it is when you speak to people back in Africa, they always tell you to speak louder. You know how it is.
Speak louder, please. Right? Speak louder.
Yeah, they always tell me to speak louder back home whenever I call my parents back home. So.
Where are your parents?
Yeah. They're in Djibouti.
Oh, I thought it was just a name you got.
Miss Djibouti from Djibouti.
All right. Talk to me, Miss Djibouti.
So what are we talking about today?
We're discussing the price of condoms.
Oh, okay. I don't know how much that shit costs. It's been a while.
Why do women say they are allergic to latex? Is it just because they want to try and get our seed inside their womb?
I don't know. I'm a celibate, guys. So I haven't been with a man for almost 4 years, post separation / divorce. So
you've not been with a man, but you masturbate, I'm sure.
No, I don't. I mean, I talk, I socialize on the internet.
So you don't have a dildo.
No, I don't have that either. I'm actually really celibate. I fast on Mondays and Thursdays. I've been celibate, but it's time for me to move on. And I'm now.
Why did you decide to be celibate?
It's just how I am. I'm a traditional / modern woman. I'm a 50-50 type of girl.
So why did you separate with a guy if you're 50-50?
Well, it's not what I signed up for. You know how it is. You get married and they're one thing, and then after, 14 years of marriage and 4 kids later, things change, So I got my run.
Wait. So things changed after 14 years and 4 kids later? Things changed?
Absolutely, yeah.
So why did you change?
I didn't change. I am who I was before and after. I've been consistent.
No. He doesn't change. You changed.
No. He changed. He got comfortable because he thought, after 4 kids, I'm not going anywhere, right?
But you shouldn't go anywhere after 4 kids.
I mean, he got comfortable, meaning that he can, play around and, act up and think that I would tolerate it because, he's with me for so many years and I have so many kids, but I'm still the same woman. I don't tolerate bullshit. I don't take bullshit. I could have 15 children. I'm still the same woman, regardless.
So what did he start doing that made you think that he's playing around?
He started going out with his single friends from work on the weekends. He felt that the weekend should be his time.
Yes.
And weekend should be family time. It shouldn't be just you work 9 to 5
No.
and you go to work. But
he's the man. He decides what he does with his time. Why are you trying to control him?
That's not what I signed up for, though. That's not part of our contract, our marriage contract, right?
A contract was he's supposed to slave during the week and then weekends he takes with his family?
I mean, you're married, so where are you going?
I have another life. I don't need to be with you all the time.
Once you're married, you have no life. It's our life now.
So right? I'm a slave to you?
You're not a slave. It's so our life.
I can make a decision to take my weekends back. I don't need to have you in my life every second of the day.
Then we don't need to be married, right?
No, but you can have your own life as well. Why don't you go and look for something to do, like maybe cook or clean or something?
It's our life, right?
So you left him.
I made the decision to walk away. Yes.
All right, and so you stayed celibate for 4 years because you realized you made a huge mistake.
No, I decided to stay celibate because I believe in having sex when you're married.
So yeah, but also, is it a Christian? Are you Christian?
No, I'm Muslim.
Oh, you're a Muslim.
Yeah.
All right, so you've decided to put that behind you, and now you're looking for another husband.
Yes, I'm gonna be. I've gotten a lot of marriage proposals, and I wasn't ready because I just feel like the person needs to be someone that I could see being like a good stepfather to my children. So
there are men out there who are mad enough to propose to a woman who has 4 kids.
Absolutely. And you know what's funny? There's something so sexy about a woman that's so fertile, and that's a MILF.
It's sexy to what? To other women?
No, to men. Like, men love women that are so fertile, and especially when you see.
Are you mad? Are you mad?
A man who take care of children, and you just have all these like a man. Oh. Men don't get women that are not good quality or high level caliber. They're not going to make them the mother of their children, especially 4 kids.
Imagine Miss Djibouti. Let me tell you something so that you can go.
Sauce is something special,
Yeah. Let me tell you something so that you can understand where your position right now. Any man who proposes to a woman who has 4 kids is a loser.
I'm going to tell you something, Andrew.
It's a loser. That man is going to give you grief.
If you look at me, Andrew, if you look at me right now, just click my profile picture. And you'll see not only do I not look like I have kids, but I look amazing.
How old are you?
I look phenomenal. I'm in my 30s.
You're in your 30s?
Yeah.
You're a hot mess.
Don't get me started on that. Yeah.
So Miss Djibouti, let me just reiterate that because I don't think you're listening to me very much, and I need also for the other women who are out here to know, any man who proposes to you when you have 4 kids is blind and he's a loser, and you're going to separate at some point because he didn't know what he was doing. So if my advice to you, Miss Djibouti, is to go running back to your husband and beg him on all fours. Go lie prostrate there. Tell him, please, husband, I'm so sorry I made a mistake. The streets are not what I thought they would be.
No, honey. No. Listen, I haven't been in the streets. I've just been taking care of his kids. And now the kids are at a wonderful age. They're not in their diapers. They talk. They're independent. I don't need to cry about no babysitter. They can pour their own cereal. They can have their own bath. It's just phenomenal. Like, this is the time for me to get out there. I've done my job. There's no baby.
Why not give the
Goo Gaga?
Miss Djibouti? Why not give the kids back to the rightful owner?
And who's that? Their dad.
They're his kids, right?
So they can end up looking hungry and have lice and looking like they don't have a mom. Hello.
Is that the mom? Is that the man you chose to have 4 kids with?
Honest, since when does a man know how to raise children
Ms.
without a woman there?
Let's be honest. Answer that question. Is that the man you chose to have 4 kids with and get married to? A man who will keep his kids hungry and they will have lice?
No, I don't think he can do the job without a woman there, and I'm not there, so
but I'm asking. This is the man you said yes to. You got married and had 4 kids with, and right now you think that he cannot take care of 4 kids. You can do a better job than him.
Me, absolutely not.
Do you realize taking care of kids is one of the easiest jobs in the world?
Yeah, it's not man.
And women have tried to make it look like it's the hardest thing the world has ever been, we've ever known. That taking care of kids is so complicated. It's not. It's the easiest job, and you guys have overcomplicated it. It is so easy.
Things.
It is so easy. Yeah. You can get a village girl to come and do it.
I would say that the issue is the work and life balance, right? Like, I mean, if you have your maid and you have your cook and you have your chauffeur, which is the life that you can have in Africa and not in Western world. Goodness. I mean, it's easy, right?
You're so deluded. Raising children is the easiest job in the world, and women don't want to do it, and they want to keep telling us that it's the hardest job. Yet you hire a village girl who you've just done an interview with to raise your 3-month-old baby as you go back to work for the man. What a waste of space. All right, Miss Djibouti, anything else?
Okay. Well, I don't know. I know they only have a 3-month maternity leave in Africa, but I'm from Western world, so we get a 1 year off, plus 1.5 years now. The laws has changed. But Africa, I'm on
which country are you in? Huh? I can't hear. She's her network is shit. That's like her stories. Canada, you get 1 year
and a half
for maternity.
For maternity leave, yes, and it's paid 70% of your salary.
What a waste! What a waste! That's why Canada is disintegrating into anarchy.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Miss Djibouti. Thank you for coming through.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
All right. Let me hear from Mugabe. Mugabe, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. That's it was something else.
Oh, you had Miss Djibouti.
Andrew, morning.
Talk to me.
Okay. I just enjoyed listening to the last bit. I probably thought that it should have continued on and on. It would look like a theater, a comedian show. And yet it's a reality. Yes, Andrew. Actually, there is a lot which has been shared this morning, and very interesting and a lot to learn. But I feel at the beginning I really picked interest in certain things you really mentioned out. I'll just quote something you said which really struck me, and it's true. You made a comment, you said you get married. The comment which some people use, get married first and we can talk. It's a hook. It's so, hooking you to commit to something, and then thereafter you are entrapped, you can't get out of it. You also made another comment which really struck, because this is true, people use these statements. Actually, women tend to use these statements. Of course, the other one is the pressure, where everyone is, when are you doing this? Yet actually, at the time when, someone you've married actually becomes a burden, becomes a problem or a challenge, then you are entrapped too, and it becomes an ongoing fight. But you see, interestingly, there happened to be an incident which happened 2 weeks ago? And this is probably also showing how probably problematic relationships have become. A male friend of mine happened to have had, they had this sort of relationship, but he realized it was too much controlled. And he's like, no, I can't stay with a control freak. I just have to move on, And then he moves on. Now, what eventually transpired, he moved on, and one time while he was seated in the park, he was just in the park with a few other colleagues, this lady came because he had moved on, and probably a lapse of about 2 months down the road. She came, but she was still interested, probably, as someone is still insisting, that, let this continue. But the guy who put his foot down is like, no. So, and we used to talk through these things. Now, along the way, the lady came one time, we met him, he was seated somewhere at the park, relaxing a bit. It was, and of course, the lads were playing football, and he was watching. So I didn't notice her coming. She came from the back, and then she touched his beard, and she kissed him, in a public place without his consent. And then he's like, what are you doing? And of course, clearly speaking, was very frustrated and very upset by that. Now, and again, what eventually happened later on, of course, the other male colleagues who were there were saying, now, you can imagine if this was done by, a male or a man, then everyone would get to him, and, you sexually assaulted this person. But if, on the other hand, like what the lady did, he touched his beard without his will, he had already moved on, he's no longer interested in her, and then she also kissed him. So this is an incident, and he came to us and said, now what can I do to this sort of person here? Yet even the way, and actually part of the problem is the way the laws work. They keep on blaming one gender. If a man touches a woman, that would be indecent assault. If a woman touches the beard of a man, it looks as if it's not. So the enslavement is not only based on how society has designed certain things, but also on how these laws or these legal regimes have traditionally made women feel that they are more vulnerable, and yet actually the enslavement makes a man to be on the losing end or puts him in a fix. And I think that is part of the problem. There are other causes of this problem, but that's part of it. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to bring to this conversation. But thank you, Andrew. But I have also liked, I liked because see, I admired your boldness. Being able to realize that this is not going to work for me. Let me move on. It takes courage, it takes wisdom, and it takes a stand. Okay, that's what I wanted to contribute. Thank you, Andrew.
All right, thank you, Mugabe. Oh man, I was enjoying your stories. Huh? Yeah, imagine a woman comes. Hey, okay. Let me hear from another voice. I see Show Moto is here. Show Moto, I'll come to you, DJ TK, Monene, Akan, Didoro. I'll come to you. Show Moto. Unmute yourself.
Yes, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, this is Shomoto.
What do you have to say, Shomoto?
Yes, this is Shomoto. Am I audible?
My goodness.
I am unmute.
Yes, go ahead, bro. This guy.
Okay, I think there's a delay, so I'll go ahead and shoot. I can't hear the host. I can't hear anyone speaking apart from my own voice, so I'll go ahead. My question is there anything else besides the physical? What I mean is, here, people on Earth, we usually tend to make goals, and when we achieve the goals, it tends to make another greater goal, which is usually a physical goal. Until someone becomes a billionaire, we've had cases of billionaires not being happy with their money. So my question is there anything more beyond the physical? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Show. That's a good question. That's a very good question. Is there anything beyond what it is that we have put in our heads? Every time you get those, because you know what? All the plans that you're making are plans because you're not content. I want you to understand that. You're making plans because you're not content with your situation. You're making plans to be to the next level and to the next. So you're not enjoying the moment, life. There's some people right now who are even in America, and I've talked to a couple of them. And this guy is planning one day to go back to Kenya and have a good life. So he's suffering through this life that he's in right now, living in the greatest country in the world. But he has told himself that he's suffering, and he's denying himself everything so that one day he can go back when he's old to enjoy a good life in Kenya. I'm like, who told you people enjoy life when they are old? Who is that who lied to us that life is enjoyed when people are old? And you keep thinking there's something else, and there's something else. There's a guy, it's been trending. You guys should look it up. There's a guy who he left his job. He gave them notice. He's a CEO of $1 billion company. And he left his job and he said, listen, I'm leaving because I want to go back home and spend time at the beach. I've realized that I'm wasting time being a CEO. I've realized maybe he can do it because if I'm sure even the send off package is going to be crazy. But he has realized that he's wasting time being a CEO. There's once I was with this guy and he says he's going to buy a company from a guy who was at the airport, and then he was what? I think it's like 55 or something. He was at the airport and he saw somebody have a heart attack who was younger than him. And this guy realized, shit, this guy is here, younger than me, having a heart attack. And here I am, moving from one airport to the next, doing one business to the next, trying to figure all this shit out. Yeah, what is it all for? What is it all for? There is no contentment in the life because we have been programmed to never be content. Not lazy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you not to be lazy. I'm just saying there's contentment, meaning you can enjoy your moments. You can enjoy today. Then tomorrow is another day. You'll enjoy tomorrow. But you have to enjoy your moments. You live in the now. Many people are living in the past and in the future. Nobody's living in the present. It's so hard to live in the present because you've been told about the past. Now all the trauma of the past is dealing with you. So you're a very evil human being because you have the trauma of the past. And then now you're worried about the future. What's going to happen tomorrow? So you miss out on today and there's nothing good for you. And you'll grow up a very depressed person. So yeah, that's a very good question, man. I appreciate that question. Show Moto. I don't know whether, where am I? Yeah, I think that's a good enough answer. I don't know whether DJ. Okay, who is this? DJT. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say something concerning the conversation that you had with Miss Djibouti. There's something that she said that I don't know if it got past you or what. That her only red flag of a man was, of the father to her kids, was that he started to go out with single guys. And when you're having a conversation with Gift, you told us that your buddies, the bitches to your buddies were, and also your wife, they were great friends than how you guys are friends. So I tend to think, is it that she feared that her man would awaken, or why is that a red flag to her?
It's a red flag because she's afraid she'll not be able to control him anymore. So she'd rather leave him while she's on top, because she probably knew how evil she had been. Yeah. So all those years she knew, and if this guy starts hanging out with his friends and he realizes that he was duped into this marriage, and now he's paying alimony and child support, that he might leave her and she might never be able to recover.
Yeah.
And if she's talking about being hot now, imagine how hot she was before she got the kids. So she must have bamboozled this guy into this marriage, and then to getting 4 kids quick fast, meaning he has money. Yeah, getting 4 kids quick fast, and then now forever being a headache to him.
Sure.
So the day she realized that this guy might wake up, she said, let me leave him fast before he wakes up and leaves me. Meaning even makeup, even makeup, she must be wearing tons and tons of makeup.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, imagine that shit.
Yeah, and did you have such a problem, you yourself? Like your wife never allowed you to have friends, other single friends? Because like for me, I told you about that bitch who almost trapped me. And one thing, she used to like my other friends who had bitches around them. But I had this best buddy of mine who was single, and anytime she called me and heard that I was with this friend, she could get mad. And even in my mind, I started thinking, like, is it that they knew each other from before I met them or what? But now I'm seeing the picture. It's just because she never liked single people.
No, you see, single people have are not in bondage.
Right.
Yeah, single people are not in bondage. It's like every day I come to visit you at the zoo, and you see me happy, being free. Every day I come to visit you. You at the zoo, you're in a cage.
To the zoo.
Yeah.
To the zoo.
but me, I'm free. I come here and I make fun and we hang out. And then after some time, I tell you, oh, you guys, let me go hunting somewhere else today. I'm feeling loose. But you are in the cage. You cannot go anywhere. So at some point, you're going to ask yourself, hey, is this cage of my own making, or is this a cage that has been made by society?
Yeah,
so
sure.
They don't want you to wake up and realize that you're in a cage. And yes, they don't want you to wake up. They would rather do everything in their power, because the day you wake up, then you leave them, and they cannot have that. They cannot have you leaving.
Sure.
Yeah. So if a man was to wake up secretly, what does he do? He leaves his wife and he starts to build his own life again. Because what's the one thing that men are not, it's not happening for men, is that men are dying alone. Did you know that?
Men die alone?
Yes. When men grow old with their women, at some point, the woman would have changed the kids against the father.
Yeah, true.
And then now the kids will take care of the mother and neglect the father.
Yeah. It's evident. It's evident even, there was a certain clip of a certain preacher. I think the preacher was a Tanzanian. And the Tanzanian was saying that his kids managed to go abroad. And the only communication that they had was through the mother. Like the kids could call the mother. Then the mother now could pass the phone to the dad, but not the other way around. So the father was complaining that the kids tend to forget the father, that they only think it's the mother who took part in their life. And funny enough, it's that the dad was the one who perhaps maybe hustled for the fare of the kids to go abroad.
Yeah, but you hear the way women talk about motherhood, and they make it look like they are, it's the hardest thing that any person has to do in this world, and they keep wanting all this praise and adoration for motherhood, yet when they're left to do it, they don't want to do it. All they want to do is pop the kids, but leave somebody else to do the raising of the kids.
Yeah, child support.
Because they know once they pop the kids, now they have you. They have you, but they don't really want to raise the kids. Otherwise, they wouldn't be bringing those girls from the village to raise their children, would they?
No, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't be dumping their kids at their mother's houses, would they?
They wouldn't.
How many kids are being raised by their grandparents now in Kenya? It's astronomical. You guys should know that. There are so many.
And they call their mothers by their name, not mom. They call them by their name.
Yes.
Because they think their grandmother is the mom.
Exactly. And how many of those women are on antidepressants because the kids rejected them?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. The kids rejected. Now the kid does not understand. How can you be mom, yet I see you once every 3 months? The mom is out there in the club partying like crazy, like she's a single woman. Yet there's a kid in the village. Yeah, so they have no problem popping the kids as long as they know that this man is going to be hooked. And once he's hooked, now she can even bring the government to enforce that hook.
Yeah, true.
So they don't really love the kids. They make it look like it's such a big deal so that men cannot wake up. But if you were to wake up and realize that we probably would do a better job than them, and that, I mean, it's common sense. How do you bring a girl from the village and in 2 days you are going to leave this village girl with your precious possession, your most precious possession? Even though it was 1 year, 6 months. How dare you do that? How dare you leave your most precious, the most precious thing in your life with someone who you've just done an interview, someone who just sent as a recommendation, hey, there's a village girl here who's just finished Form 4. While she's waiting to do something, you can employ her. That's the only qualification she has.
doesn't make sense at all.
It doesn't make sense. We're being played, bro. We're being played.
For real. You, all right. Thank you, man.
Thank you, DJ T. Let me hear from Meho. Meho, are you there? Is it Miho? Miho. Let me see the full name here. It's Tony Tosh. All right, as we wait for Meho to get his thong on, let me hear from Didro. Didro, how are you? Didro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good. All right. So I have a very interesting conversation. But before we get to there, I think we can agree Miss Djibouti belongs to the streets.
Oh, she's the streets, bro.
And then,
she's the streets. She's the streets.
she's cleaning the streets, so it's good. It's all right. Okay. So now, we talk about like how women they want to be independent and everything, but there's something interesting. So if you look at when World War II started in the 40s, when a lot of men went to war, a lot of women had to take over the jobs. They had to do, so when a lot of women picked that up, which is, the baby boomers, a lot of them, they were doing now hard labors and stuff like that. So when the men came back from war, their women now, they're paying bills, they're taking care of the family, they're doing this. And then at that point, Generation X, they're seeing it from the first point of view. Now they're seeing their mothers are the one, doing most of the work. And then not to mention that a lot of men, when they came back from war, you have a lot of them that died. A lot of them came with injuries. A lot of them came with like mental disabilities and all this stuff. So not 100% of them were even able to come back, or even the ones who were able to come back, they were not able to take care of the family like they were doing before they went to war. So Generation X seeing this, so that's when they started going to school. So about 42% of women during that decade, 42% of women went to college and everything. And then having Generation X now going to school and everything, now the millennials are the ones who are being told by their mother, you don't need a man. You know what I mean? We saw our mothers, they did all this hard labor. They didn't need a man when your father, when the father was at war, the mom, our moms did everything. So the millennials picked that up. And right now, so, like between I was doing that research, by the way. So like about like 72% of women between the 70s and 2015, 72% of women went to college and finished college, and only 65% of men went to college. So right now it's so hard because the man cannot even be able to keep up the fact that a woman, they can make more, in some cases, or they can have their own house, they can have their own stuff and everything. So even when a man and a woman get in a relationship, it's so hard for a man to be a man. So I think it's, when we talk about it's good for a man to be single and build yourself, and then now, if you in a position where now you can, maintain a woman and have that leverage, that's the best. That's the best position.
What leverage do you think you need to have to maintain a woman?
I mean, at that point, if you're making more money, then you can you can be able to find a woman who who's tradition.
Where are you getting this woman?
No, but I'm not saying you have to though. But I'm saying
but the idea behind the man thinking that he needs to now build himself so that he can find the right woman who's going to respect him and be submissive to him. Where is that idea coming from?
But that's what I'm trying to get away from that idea, because it technically doesn't even exist because of everything that I just said. It doesn't even support that idea. So that's what I'm saying. For any man who would think that they want a woman, they would have to first work on themselves so they can have the leverage. like you always say, you know what I'm saying? Like if a man is gonna end up marrying.
So my point is, now let's take it one step further and ask what leverage possibly a man could have to get, immunize him against this system that is continually dragging men to the dark side. What leverage could a man possibly have that he would protect himself against this very definite outcome?
The only leverage it would be not to marry, but if even though the man want to be with that woman, be with her and just have kids, but don't marry.
How?
Just have an agreement type of thing.
Like now.
I mean, because you said based on the system that we have. So if I was to answer that question based on the system that we have, I would say the only leverage is not to be married. Like, the government doesn't know that we're together.
Do you know there's a lady who, I think it's in New York, she put the name of her boyfriend that were going out on the documents for the child, and he's not the baby daddy.
He wasn't?
No, he's not.
Damn.
So they've even gone to court to prove that he's not the baby daddy. Because when she was asked who's the father, she put his name, but then even the DNA proved that he was not. The court is the court is charging him $30,000 in back pay for having for that child,
even though that's not his child.
Yes, it was all over the news the other day.
Damn.
The court is charging him $30,000, or he's going to go to jail.
Yeah. But so let me ask you something.
It was just this woman saying, she was asked, who is the baby daddy?
Yeah.
And she said, this guy. And that was
so
it.
He didn't even try to fight it. He didn't try
No,
to do anything?
now he's had to hire a lawyer to go defend him. They've had to do a DNA. And she knows very well, both of them knew very well that this is not his child. He came into the child's life later. He was just dating a single mother. Are you getting? It is so obvious that it was not his child, but because he was dating her, she put his name, and now as long as the name is in the government's records, now getting rid of that name from there.
Through DNA?
It's not enough, bro. They have to go to court and they have to prove and do all these things. And now this man has to lose more money trying to defend himself.
Pay the lawyer and everything.
Yes.
Damn, it's messed up, man.
It's completely messed up. So even this.
And how do you think it's gonna go for Generation Z, especially for our countries, like Africa? Because like I would say probably a whole in Africa just follows it. We follow whatever is going on in the West, and that just becomes the worst thing.
Yeah,
so it's getting worse and worse.
So we're going to have a lot of homosexuality and lesbianism, and then we're going to be procuring abortions like it is just you're going to get a new haircut. You're going to hear that a lot of women are getting abortions, and
that's what you think is going to happen for Generation Z, right?
Yes, and then they're going to be very evil. It's going to be a very evil generation. Because they've grown up with all this anger that has been deposited in them. They are very emotional. They are a very emotional generation. And their men are super, super weak. Their women are super manipulative. So it's going to be super war. These are the ones who are going to now lead us into war.
Yeah, I think so. But I think mostly it's going to lead to a lot of confusion and like you said, homosexuality and stuff. I think it's going to be huge, especially in Africa.
Yeah, and they're not listening to the elders at all.
Yeah,
they don't want to listen.
I can say the millennials, we haven't even done a good job on that topic right there. Listening to our elders. So I cannot expect the Generation Z to do the same.
Yeah, they have rejected the whole system, and they're going to bring the system crashing to its knees.
Damn, it's so harsh. Like, when you say it like that, because it's just unimaginable.
Oh man, look at the violence right now we're experiencing in countries. It's getting worse.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, the year is not even over. Only in America we have had. I think it's a little over 150 shootings.
Mass shootings.
Mass shootings.
Yes, not just mass shootings.
Mass shootings, yes, true. And then but I think it was like 3 weeks ago. There was another school, like what's it called, like middle school shooting attempt, but nobody was killed or anything. I saw that one.
Yeah, so I mean, even in the black community, they're not reporting a lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean the blacks are now super untouchable. But yes, this is going to come to a place where now they're ungovernable. Right now in Chicago, there's a new law in Chicago that the cops cannot chase you on foot.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they've decided they don't. I mean, that's too much work because the other day they chased a guy and he popped a gun and so this guy was carrying a gun. He pointed it at the cop shot the guy, and now it's Black Lives Matter all over again.
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah. I saw that one today. But the one I saw that was crazy, I mean, I don't know, maybe a lot of people wouldn't think it's crazy, but I think it's a little bit, it just doesn't make sense to me. But New York, they passed a law where, like, if you go get a gun, they have to go over your social media. Like, it's that bad now at this point. Like, they have to go over your social media for you to get a gun.
Man, that's some crazy shit. We're living in some crazy times, man.
Like, it's just confusing, It's to a point now where the government is like, we're gonna go over your Twitter, your IG, your Facebook to see if we can allow you to buy a gun. It just shows even the government themselves, man. Like, it's confusion all over the place, Yeah. I think it's gonna be crazy, but I appreciate the time, man.
All right, thank you, Didoro. I appreciate that as well. Oh, man. Interesting. Akan or Akan, are you there? Akan. Is Akan or Akan? Mutatiyi. Oh, it's a Kenyan. Simon Mwangi Kiano, are you there? You have to unmute your mics, huh? You guys have to learn how to do this shit. Simon Mwangi Kiano.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to say that single people are like, they are free to think. They are free. They are independent thinker. So if you have an independent thinker, of course the other partner will be afraid because what they are trying to tell you, what they are trying to put in you, someone else is seeing it through you. So they don't want you to have an independent thinker. That's it. The other point is when what's this point? Yeah. Like, for us to solve this thing, we don't need to get married. We just need to be a don't care. Just be a don't care. Just be you. Just be you. Just be you.
I know what you're saying, and I've been struggling with that, with selling
like
that story.
If you show weakness, let me tell you something. If I show you my weakness, you really take advantage of it. Even when you're fighting, you don't show your weakness. You do not show your weakness. So when you show your weakness, these people take advantage of it, and you just don't care. Show someone you don't care whether they live or stay, and you're good. You're just good to go. It shows you're strong. Anyway, that's all.
I hear you, man. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, when you show your weakness. Some of you, because you're so intent on having these fairy tale marriages. Simon, I need to mute your mic. Huh? Mute your mic.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, some of you, because of this allure of having calling your wife or your girlfriend my friend. I married my best friend. Have you had guys who say that? I married my best friend. Even when you're going down on one knee, you're like, oh, because you're my best friend and you feel you meet all my needs and I cannot do this life without you. I have found the best thing since sliced bread. And, give all this useless fake, and then you go into a relationship thinking it's going to be that way. So one day you go to your office or you go to the workplace and things don't work out the way you wanted. Maybe as you're coming home, there was a cat that was crossing the road, and you just ran over it, and you feel bad, and you've come home and you're depressed because your boss made noise at you, and you've killed a cat on the road, and now here you are in the house at your lowest moment, and you don't know how to deal with your boss, and this cat is dead, man. Come on. This woman will look at you like, oh, here we go. It's my turn to shine. And she's going to suck in all that energy, and then I'll put a pin on it. Anytime you try to go out of the reservation, she's going to take you back to that point. Do you remember that day when you came here and you were crying like a little bitch? Remember I nursed you back to health? Don't you remember? You little bitch. Crying here like, oh, okay. Let me not get too carried away. Paul Mboya, are you there?
Yeah, Kibe.
What's happening, Paul? How are you?
Amizi, I have two strong questions that I would wish to put up so that we have some discussion about. In the early years, 90s, I think when women were fighting to get to workplace.
Yeah.
Most women would say they cannot contain a man who would go out there go to work and then come home and just raise his legs expecting everything to be ready. Unfortunately, why is it that the same people who said they can be able to do more than what a man does, today you'll notice any woman who goes out to work will come home and have the same behavior of the man that she hated to be happening. Just sit and raise his legs expecting things to happen. Why does that happen? Question 2. When a man marries a woman to be a stay-home mother and less educated, it is seen to be like you are demonizing the woman and belittling the woman, not to mind about her education and something like that. But why is it that the career women, when they get children, they also tend not to have the same attention that they were demanding from men, and then they also end up bringing a village girl who is much more less educated than them to spend more time with the kids at home, yet they were seeing that stay-home mom is not of value to raising the kids. But why is it that they also employ house helps who are less educated? And in fact, the ones who are not educated are even better house helps than the ones who are educated. And the third question, just to expound on that, have you ever seen any place where there is a house help who has a diploma or probably a degree to be a better nurturer of kids? Thank you.
Okay. The question that I got, the one that I got was the lady chooses a house help, and the less educated she is, the better, because she knows that one will be humble and submissive, and it's not going to give her any hell, and it's going to listen to instructions, and it's going to follow instructions. So the less educated, the better. So she chooses that for herself as the person who's going to come and work for her. The more educated the house help is, the more of a problem she's going to be, because now she's going to want more. Our police force in Kenya are having that problem. The more educated a policeman is when he's coming to join the force, the more of a headache is going to be in the force, because now he's entitled. Because education gives you a big head. It pumps up your ego to a point where you don't want me to be educated. You don't want me to be, with all this education, where do you want me to take it? So so the less educated a woman is, the better it is for this woman who wants to get a house help. Gentlemen, there's a life hack here. There's a life hack. Oh, man. The less, we have said this many times, the less educated a woman is, the better a wife she's going to make. If you do want to go down that road, the less educated she is.
So, Kibe, just to interrupt you, if you take that point alone, it tells you that most what we call modern women are more masculine than men. And if they are asking if any woman or any lady here is asking for what submissiveness and femininity is, then let them look for a woman who has employed a diploma holder as a house help and says that she's fine. And it has never come out clear for me like it has right now. There is no woman who will employ a more educated house help. Never. Yet they say that
never.
Go to school. Why?
And not only that, you guys need to know, it's not just the educated house help that they are afraid of, even the beautiful looking house help. If that house help has a modern look, like he's already wanting to wear weaves and wigs and put on makeup and, do her nails, she knows that house help is not there to stay.
And then they wonder why, when a man wants to settle, they don't mind about how long your nails are, how plastic they are. They don't mind about makeup. They don't mind about the hairstyle. They don't mind about the look. It's submissiveness. And if they think men are wrong, still the question, why are best house helps? They don't do makeup. They don't do nails. They are not even on social media. Actually, that's one thing that they check. No woman will allow any good house help is not even on social media.
Have you seen some of the ladies who are going from Kenya to the UAE?
Man.
The ones who have some looks or have some education are the ones who are going to misbehave the most. But the ones who've come from deep in the village, the deeper in the village the woman is coming from, the better for you.
The better the life.
Yes, but you bring her from, oh man. Some of us we took women from Nairobi, from the main towns. Oh, we have suffered. We have suffered.
So even them, they know the secret, but they have not been talking about it. So I think today, the secret is out.
Yeah, because they lied to us that, motherhood is the most important thing this world has ever seen. That a woman, by just being a mother, people can stand and clap for her. First of all, I'm a mother. Clap, clap, clap. I'm a mother of... I'm sure Ngeo is going to come here and give us that mother routine. I'm a mother of 2 boys, and now you want to be showered with praises. Like it is such a big deal. How many kilometers of road have you made? All right, Paul Boy, anything else?
Don't forget, I want to hear the answers. Why even the most educated men employ the least educated house helps? And the least educated they are, the better they are. Why?
Let's hear from a woman first. Ngeo.
Good morning.
Yes.
Hi.
There's a question for you here. Did you hear what Paul is asking?
Yeah, that's the reason why I put up my hand. I just came to answer this question. The truth is, and I'm going to admit that I probably will be in trouble after this. God help me after this answer. But the reality is that it is easier to deal with a less educated house helper or domestic worker, whichever you call them. They are not, they don't question your status quo. They just do as they're told. So very submissive house helpers. They don't know much except that they're there to help you. So you give them directions, you tell them how to do things. And on top of that, they're not a threat to your potential or to your husband if you're married, because, your man is used to you looking as good as you are, and then you're bringing somebody from a rural area. They don't dress, as much as we like them to dress, it's pretty. They don't apply makeup. They're not into that, or maybe it's because they are not aware of certain things that they can do, So they're very simple, easygoing people. They are just there to do a job, So many wives or women prefer such people because they are going to do exactly as they're told. Don't touch this, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. And they will not. They will respect you to the core. Sometimes you'll be wondering, is this a human being? Like a remote, you're using a remote control to tell them what to do left and right, and they do as they please, as you ask them. So, and they will be very respectful people. They will not just enter your bedroom, for an example, unless you give them that permission to go and clean your bedroom. But otherwise, they will not. They will not wash your underwears, and they will not touch your clothes. They will not try your clothes when you are at work. They will not misbehave. They will do as they're told. But get a smart urban area woman who is willing to do domestic work. You'll come back home, they're still wearing their tights, they're cleaning, wearing, their Nike shoes, they're not wearing that uniform, they're sitting in the couch, eating, watching TV, opening the fridge, taking your sausages and, frying your eggs because that's their life.
Yeah.
So you don't want, so most women really don't want such people because we know how they behave, right? So let me tell you, it's not like women don't understand women. We know how women behave. So we know the rural area women are going to be very extremely submissive. Let me tell you that. They will even ask me, I'm done. Is there anything else that you still want me to do before I go and sleep? That's if they're staying with you. While the other one won't even do that. The other one will even control your remote. They will change. Oh, I want you to watch Generation or, some program on TV, and then they change while you're watching. Imagine you're watching your interesting sport. They become too comfortable. They just sit anyhow next to your partner and you're thinking, you have some respect. So there's a huge difference between an urban area domestic worker as well as the rural area domestic worker. So who would you prefer, in your home? I mean, if you're a man also, who would you prefer? And that's the other question that men also need to ask. Will you prefer a smart street, growing up in an urban area, or you will prefer a rural area girl? I think both of us will go for the rural area girl.
Yeah, and that's the question we're asking today. Why do men keep making the same mistake, trying to go for this educated woman while the writing is on the wall, so to say, right? So to speak.
Yeah, but you do need, okay, maybe a need is a bad thing, but men, I don't even know how to answer this.
Gail, before you say it, when you bring a domestic worker to your house, you want her to be able to follow each direction that you give her without questioning you.
Everything,
yes,
like Andrew.
Because if she does that, she makes you into a better human being, right?
You just I don't know about that.
No, because I mean, if you have a domestic worker who follows instructions, she's valuable to you.
Yes,
she's very valuable because now you can depend on her. If you tell her to do this, she's going to do it.
Yes,
you're not going to find her outside gossiping with other women. She's going to take care of your kids the right way. She's going to do her job like you have brought her to do it.
Yes. And whatever you teach her, if you teach her, this is how you must wash my curtains, this is how you must wash my bedding, this is how you must clean my floor, everything, she will do that to the T.
She doesn't deviate, she's full of respect, and she doesn't interrupt your space.
No, she doesn't. When she's done with whatever she needs to do, if she's a stay-in domestic worker, she's going to a room.
To her room.
And she's going to sleep.
Yes. And she's not going to have, on Sundays when you give her an off, she goes and comes back on time. Yeah?
I think I got cut there, and I didn't hear what you asked. I think I lost network. But she wouldn't, you see, even on weekends, you just have to at least tell her she doesn't have to work over the weekend, Saturday and Sundays. But let me tell you, they are always working because we are not going to be home. We are going partying, we're going, out with friends, we're going out with our partners, we must look after the kids.
So my point was, that's what a wife is supposed to be, right?
The then wives.
Yeah, that's exactly, you've described a wife. Because that's what I want. I don't want someone who's going to come into my house and challenge me.
Then you're going to have problems. Andrew, because the women like us and me and other women are no longer into we challenge everything that you say. We question. We want to be like you. You're going out partying. I want to go out partying.
And that is why we're having these major problems in this world, because women are trying to be like men, and you're trying to take the position of the man. But when you're looking for a woman, you know exactly what type of woman to look for. Why are we? Since you are a man and you're working, now you've shown me what kind of woman I need to get for myself. If men are listening, if you're listening, Gail has just explained to us the kind of woman we're supposed to get.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that, Andrew. I'm really not disputing that. I know what you guys are looking for, and unfortunately, you are not finding these women anymore. And also remember,
we shall wait for you guys to get a house girl, and now come and pick those house girls. We're like,
it's happening a lot, Andrew. Andrew, don't even go there. Our domestic workers are turned into wives by the men. Hey, let me not even go there because you will think this is a joke. These girls, because the way they behave and they respect, some men are now using them as wives. And the moment these domestic workers notices that the men are into them, trouble in that house. Let me not go there. Some men are now turning those domestic workers into wives because they're seeing what they want from their wives, and they're not finding their wife, but in this domestic worker.
Nice. That's how it's supposed to be. Sorry, Paul, you wanted to say something?
Yes. Today we've got the hardest answer on earth. The hardest answer, I think it has been found today. Women normally ask, what do men want in a wife or a woman? The answer is, the best house help a woman will ever employ. That is the thing that a man is looking for in a wife. That one is exactly. So what we are realizing in the society today, every house has two men, one without a dick, and both of them have a wife who is now the house help. And you'll realize that the women also get so comfortable that they do not mind these other house help going to look for a second source of income to take care of the house. They never ask for it. So what do men look for in women? The answer is exactly what a modern woman looks for in that house help who is interested. That's what a man looks for in a woman. It is not the wig, it is not the income, because even when the women are qualifying the best house helps, they never qualify them in terms of money. They never qualify them in terms of makeup. And the younger the lady is, the better. They never qualify them in terms of age. That is the crack that men are looking for in somebody called a spouse and a wife. And they are never friends with the woman of the house. They are never partners with the woman of the house. They have nothing in common. The thing is, do this, do that. The moment you start questioning, the moment you start holding the remote, the moment you go on social media, you're out of that house.
Paul, maybe just why would I want to bring in another woman who is like me? We can't have two wives in the house, right? And again, you want somebody who will come in and just as respectful as possible. You don't want that competition. Number two, you don't want another woman who's going to compete for your place in the home. Imagine I'm employing someone who looks like me, who does things like me, who is educated as me. The challenge that I'm going to be getting from that person, because this person is not going to keep quiet. She's going to ask a lot of questions. No, ma'am, that's not how we do it, et cetera, et cetera. So you want somebody who's completely different from you. Somebody who's just going to be as submissive as possible. And unfortunately, that is the reality of, we want domestic workers who are very submissive, who do as they're told. We don't want a competition. We want to deal with our men in our own terms, in our own time, and do, So it's critical for women, to have such domestic workers. Otherwise, homes will be broken. And you're going to end up having two wives, because the other one will also want to be your wife,
Exactly, Ngeo. And that's why modern marriages don't work, because there are too many in the house. Exactly.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean they won't change, right? It doesn't mean they won't change.
Okay.
The woman wants...
Wait, Paul. Just hold on, Paul. Oh, shit. Excuse me. I'm sneezing here. All right, let me hear from Miss Djibouti first, then I come to you, Brian and Guli. Miss Djibouti, do you have a question?
I just wanted to respond to what Paul said.
Paul spoke like a true legend.
I actually agree with the sister Negafiwe. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. You have to hire someone that is not as good looking as you, and I don't want to be rude, but like, you know, someone that's not like attractive and appealing, curvy, you know, with hips, waist, a fat ass, and some titties, right? Like someone that could be seen as like a young teenager, like, you know, maybe bald. I don't know. You know what I mean, right? Not very attractive. But I will say, you know, what Paul was trying to describe is a maid, not a wife. So a wife is a partner. It's someone you make love to. It's someone that you wake up to and go back to sleep with. You know what I mean? It's the woman that you chose to carry your children, right? The one that you want to spend the rest of your life with. It's not the one that's scrubbing the toilet. It's not the one that's scrubbing your floors or the walls, right? So I think what Paul was describing was a maid and not really a wife, right? I get an educated woman and a wife is intimidating. I get, you know, we do snap back, we do talk back a little bit. And we may not seem as submissive, but, you know, as long as we're submissive in the bedroom, that's all that really matters. Right? And,
wait. Yeah, now, just hold on, Ms. Djibouti. Hold on. Ms. Djibouti is just going off in her head. We have just described the perfect wife. Now she's trying to take that away from us. Brian Ngudi Juma, what do you think about this woman here who seems to be giving us some loose vibes?
That one, she doesn't belong to the streets. She belongs to the alleys. God telling her, saying she belongs to the streets, that is like uplifting her. She belongs to the alleys. If there's maybe at most a back street, not a streets. A street is open. This is an alley. Just tell her just belongs to the alley or some goat.
But he wants me to sit on his face. Brian is the type of nigga that can't get a woman like me. Did you look at my profile picture, Brian? You look like a monkey that deserves to be one of the zoo animals that Andrew was talking about earlier. You're not on my caliber. I'm a sexy, beautiful, educated woman with masters, and you're a monkey. So you shouldn't even be talking to me about alleys.
Miss
right? You're
Djibouti,
someone that I would hire as
35.
a guardian. Yeah, I would actually hire him as someone to watch the gates for me. We call them the guardian back home in Africa. Make sure that no one breaks into my house and sleep outside the gates. That's what I would hire you for, Brian. Right? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your opinion.
Yeah, you're welcome. Absolutely, you're welcome. Do not address me. Do not address me. You're below me. Thank you very much.
35
Thank you for your opinion.
Brian, just need to tell Miss Djibouti, you need to understand that 35-year-olds have no rights. First of all, if you're a woman, you're expired.
See,
I wanted to hear from Brian. You guys are trying to interrupt Brian, and Brian seems to have a very good.
Is not tamed. He's not a tamed dog.
Miss Djibouti, don't speak out of turn. Hold up, Brian. Go ahead.
As I was saying, thank you very much for your opinion. I don't value it. As I normally say, you have a right to say whatever you want to say, and I have a right to ignore it. Now, on to my point.
Go suck your mother.
My mother?
Miss Djibouti has to go now. That's rude. We don't do that here.
This space is fantastic. It's like, Jerry Springer or something. Anyway.
Go suck your mother. Imagine that. I thought she's educated.
35 years and you still don't have manners. That's a travesty. That's a travesty. She needs to forgive her people. Someone messed up someone. Forgiveness is the key. I forgive her, by the way. Yeah, just forgiveness. Christianity, forgiveness. So the issue of education. See, there's a difference between education and intelligence. What you are describing is a woman who is educated but not intelligent. Intelligence means knowing what you're supposed to do and doing it, knowing your role and playing as per your role. Education, this is like accounting and surgery, mechanical engineering. When you come to your house as a woman, is there any mechanical engineering to be done? No. Is there any accounting to be done? No. Is there any surgery to be done? Maybe when cutting meat, I don't know. But at the end of the day, your education has to go in the house. Your role is to be a wife. As the late, great Kevin Summers used to say, FBI, feminine, beautiful, submissive intelligence. So you are not applying your intelligence to the role of your your position in your house. So you are educated but ignorant. Ignorant because you are carrying your PhD, you are carrying your position of being MD into your home. Where does the position of MD in the house appear? It's nowhere. Be beautiful, be submissive, be intelligent, be feminine. Only that. But ignorance is when you bring your PhD-ness, you bring your MD-ness, you bring your mechanical engineerness into a house. Is there a vehicle to be repaired in your marital home? There's no. So the lack of intelligence, that ignorance is making you bring things which are of no value into your house, like education, like your rank. The only person who I've seen is like an outlier is a lady called Indira Nooyi. She's an Indian lady, former CEO of Pepsi. It's called PepsiCo. She was being interviewed. She used to say, I am a CEO at Pepsi. In my house, I am a wife. And this was actually, she actually learned this from her mother. There was a time her mother came to her matrimonial home. Her husband was there and she was late from work. She got to work, then she realized there was no milk. So she sort of sent the housemaid. The mother stopped the housemaid, tell, no, you are the woman of the house. You go and get the milk, not the housemaid. So that was the issue. The MD-ness, that PhD has no business in the house. So you are educated, but because of your ignorance, you are bringing your posts and your professional ranking in the house when it is out of place.
Wait, are you trying to convince the women that their degrees and their masters and their PhDs are of no value in the home? Is that what you think you're doing right now, Brian? Because
I'm not convincing. Facts
because
don't need convincing.
It sounds like you're talking to them, telling them that all those things don't matter to us. Yet, when she is choosing to have a house girl for herself, she goes deep into the village. And the deeper in the village she goes, the better for her. The more natural that woman's look is, the better for her. The less educated she is, the better for her. So if she knows what she wants for someone to stay in her home without them having friction, why aren't men using the same formula? Because now here you're talking about women and MDs and whatever. It doesn't matter which country she comes from. As long as she's an MD, she's going to give you hell. It doesn't matter who she's been trained by. Yes. Whether she's Indian, whether she's Mexican, whether she's Ugandan. It doesn't matter who she is. As long as she has that title of educated, you're fucked. This woman who was here just now, this mannerless woman with a foul tongue, a foul mouth, the moment you challenged her foulness came out. Her foul mouth it became super evident. And she kept saying,
yes,
I'm beautiful. You go look at my profile and I'm educated.
Yes.
So it's an airhead. Correct. That's an airhead was speaking because now she's been pumped full of all this useless information.
Yes, the so-called education.
So
the so-called education, which is of no use to the marital home.
Now, if men know that, now that's why I'm now want to bring you so that you don't lecture these girls who are already educated. We should consider them to be no good.
Beyond, I call it beyond salvage. So this goes back to something you've always sung. I think if you get a guitar or a banjo or a drum set or a rock band, you can make a very good song about it. Men making dick-driven decisions. Dick-driven decision. A dick-driven decision will make you marry a wrong woman.
Mm-hmm. Because at the point, at the point you're going for looks, your dick is on which is telling you.
Exactly. And then another issue. Why are you getting married? Why? What for? Give us a solid reason as to why you get. Because let us be objective. These women with their madness, they did not force their ways into our lives. We went for them. We went for them. We looked at the asses. We looked at the legs. We looked at the boobs. We looked at the lip gloss and the long weave that is reaching to the shoulder, and the brown skin, and we made a decision. We made the decision. So I think you should start a rock band. Don't be dick-driven. Just don't be dick driven. This is all these spaces from the Monday to the Wednesday red pill to the Friday open mic. The denominator is one. Men are simply being dick driven. I have said this before. The moment men stop being dick driven, we'll be like gods. Women will be looking at us with shock. Like, I came with a mini dress and this guy just looked at me and said, keep walking, keep walking. So at the end of the day, we can talk, we can analyze, and we can chop it from every angle. But as long as you leave this space after each one of us has done his bravado of, me, I'm not what. But then again, you go start chasing an ass somewhere. You'll come back here and tell us that you are washing dishes in your house while your wife is scanning the business part of the newspaper or something of the sort.
All right.
End of the story.
All right, Brian, hold up. Thank you. So this is a message from George. I don't know whether he's alive. Says, give Miss Djibouti enough rope and she'll hang herself with that master's degrees of hers. Where is Miss Djibouti? She left? Puny ass. Foul mouth. I see she's somewhere here. All right. Yeah, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Let me hear from Thick Bay, then I'll come to you, Chill Mtani. Thick Bay.
Hi, Angel.
Are you shocked today we've found out the perfect woman?
Oh, you men already knew that it's not a shock.
Yeah.
You already know that.
Any woman who is on the internet is not a good woman.
You also know that the uglier she is, the better she is.
Oh, she can be ugly and educated, and those are also a problem. I think education is the biggest problem right now with you women.
But I don't think that's it. I don't know. Maybe education has contributed to misbehaving for women. But by the way, yesterday we were having a conversation with some of my friends, and we were talking about most of the women who have been married for quite a long time are the most manipulative women on earth. I don't know if we made a wrong conclusion, but women who have been in marriage for a long time and men who have managed to stay married for a long time are the puppets. Like they are the most puppets out there to their wives, and their wives are the most manipulative people.
You've made such a good point. It's just that I don't know whether you guys have heard it. Are you talking about Ali?
No.
No. That's a joke. That's a joke. No, I'm not serious. But you have a very, very strong point. Very strong point. I want George to come in after this. Thick Bay, go ahead.
Yeah, because when I look at all the values our mothers and grandmothers taught us, the values that are supposed to help us sustain a marriage are quite manipulative to the man. You know, like they teach us how to handle a man in bed, how to speak to a man in bed, how to clean your man after the chow, you know. It's crazy. You know, I only saw the craziness yesterday when we were having this conversation. And, you know, in my country, there is something we call enkumbi. Enkumbi means a hole in English, a hole that is used to dig. But in my country, it's a small towel. I don't know if you guys know about it. It's a small towel that you use to clean your man after having sex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you know, our aunties, our grandmothers and mothers, when a woman is getting married, they tell us you have to have that thing. But the purpose of using that thing, you know, if a woman cleans your manhood with that thing, they can use it for anything. They can use it for anything. And the whole benefit of that thing was to let you know that you can probably control your man after using this thing. You can use that towel for anything you want, because you can change your man's mind to like bow to you anytime, you know. So all the values we have been taught as women to sustain marriages are quite manipulative. And I feel like women and keeping their marriages is thrives on manipulation. Women who have really stayed in marriages for 10 years, 20 years. I look at my mom. She has been married for, I don't know, the longest time I know to my dad. But my mom is the most manipulative person I know. Like, she would basically say something in front of my dad, and my dad would not even say anything. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I'll feel like it's something that my dad has to be against, but he will never say anything.
He will not challenge it.
Yeah. And I have associated with a lot of men who have been married for 20 years, 30 years, and they tell you, you people, the only secret to being married is let your wife be happy. If you understand that you have to let your woman be happy, then you will be married for quite a long time. If you look at the women, even these marriage material women that men talk about are the most manipulative women. They are humble. They will keep quiet. They will not respond to their man in public. Like, they will show all this respect. But when they go back, you know, they will whisper into a man's ear one word. That one word will manipulate the man for the rest of his life. You know, because our parents tell us you can't talk back at your man. You know, you have to respect him in public. You have to sit down when your man is sitting on a sofa. You have to sit on a mat. You know, like, show respect that you're not at the same level. But then when you're serving him food, you have to serve him, clean him while he's sweating, but then talk some nice words to him so that the food can go down properly. And these nice words you're supposed to say to him as he eats his food are so manipulative. You know, like, you're supposed to tell him all the nice things, the things that you would like him to do for you, the things that you want to be going on in your house because he's having the best meal, you know. But they go ahead and tell you, make for him the best meal, and then watch him eat as you talk to him nicely, you know. So all the values that marriage stand for is
manipulation.
Yes.
Wait, hold up, Thigbe. George, are you there?
I'm here, Andrew. Late for the show.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Did you hear what Thigbe just said? And your girlfriend, Miss Djibouti?
Man, I don't even know where to start. So I listened far back to where she was saying she has 4 children and she left the man because the man started hanging out with single guys. And now here we are. The whole time I'm trying to wake up, I'm trying to, straighten up and be of any use to these spaces. And I'm eating peaches and apricots just to flush my mind. And all I needed is to hear her real self come out. Because she could not stand that girl was describing the perfect woman to this gathering of men. So she had to come there and try to insert her masters and degrees and her imaginary beauty and her 35-year-old womb that is no good for any watchman or guard outside her house. And I'm looking and I'm like, which God in heaven would sit there and watch a man being paired by this thing here? She's so mad that women are coming out here to describe the perfect woman. Now she have to shit over everything. And she's doing it so casually because that is where her imaginary beauty and manipulation and the degrees she has acquired, that's what has propelled her to that level of ego, that she can speak like that. Not forgetting she's 35 years old with 4 kids and of no use. Of no use. not only to a man, not only to his ex-husband, to the society itself. Because what is she contributing to the society? That go suck your mom is what she gathered from all those modern education to deliver to the society? That's your contribution to the 21st century. You are a Western woman from Canada. That's what you are bringing to the gathering of the universe. What a waste of a human being. So when I requested, it was when she was getting out of hand. Because I was wondering, why are you not kicking her out? And now look at her, making all the alphabet words she can make without talking. So what do you want to do with her, Andrew?
Bro, go harm, man. This is your moment.
Because I as much as I would get some instant pleasure just kicking her out, I would rather she sits her old ass here and listen painfully to the realities of what is her life. Put a mirror in front of her tired face and force her to see herself.
Miss Djibouti, we have seen your booty. Oh, sorry, your beauty. All right. Let me hear from Chill Mtani. Man, George has gone hard on her, bro. I don't know whether she's going to be able to walk. She'll need a wheelchair for weeks. Chill Mtani, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Talk to me, man.
Hello, Kiban, to all your followers. This conversation has evolved to great heights, but I'd want to point out one thing. While George was speaking and also Ngea was speaking, I couldn't get it. The audio wasn't transmitting to my end, so unfortunately I couldn't hear what George was saying. Fortunately, I couldn't hear what Ngea was also saying. However, I'd like to first of all point out that zoo analogy that you made was completely spot on. Tikbe was talking about how they were taught by their grandmothers and their mothers how to be wives, and she used the term manipulate, that the skills that they were taught to be wives were actually skills to manipulate men, which is actually true in the sense that also as men, we're supposed to learn skills that are supposed to enable us to manipulate women to adequately be our wives in our lives. Now, perhaps she was looking at the lessons they've been taught through their culture through one particular lens, the lens that it's a manipulation tactic and not a survival tactic that appears to be a manipulation tactic, because she mentioned the men who have been married for 20 years and some, and how their women usually act or behave alongside them in public, in which they would not be boisterous, they would not be mannerless. But once they'd say, get to their own private space, like in the house, then the madness would come out. Or, as she put it, she could say one word that would completely ruin that man's life or his state to put him off his square. I agree with that. Men are supposed to learn skills that enable them to be the men in the house and to be able to, for lack of a better term, manipulate their women in order for them to be comfortable enough and fall in line to being the helper in the family.
You see, what you need to know is that we have for a long time compared the man and the woman. Use the analogy of the man and the woman and the stream and the rock. So when the rock is in the stream, it's not being pushed around by the stream, and it stands firm, and it looks firm, and the rock looks like it's winning. Okay, it does. When you look at it, the water is just passing; it's not affecting the rock. The rock looks like it's winning. But what the stream does, it over a period of time, it keeps eroding the rock.
Yes.
Over a long period of time. Now, it depends on how strong the rock was to begin with. But it doesn't matter how strong the rock, how tough the rock is. It's going to be eroded over a period of time. It cannot compete with the stream.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. So this is how it's happening between men and women. So when you say that a man can be trained on how to manipulate the woman, yet he's a logical being. And a logical being does not use manipulation. It's black or white or yellow or whatever it is. You're using logic.
Yes.
Yes, because manipulation is evil. Manipulation is you're trying to get into somebody's head for them to do something that you want them to do without knowing that they've been manipulated.
Yes, that's why I said, for lack of a better term, and trying to put it in a way in which perhaps Tikbe would understand the concept that you're trying to put across. So, like for the example of Miss Djibouti, given a little time and allowed some space to speak, she inevitably told on herself. I believe we all came to understand why her previous marriage broke up. We could see it because this is what she's doing with a complete stranger on the internet. And she's talking down to this man as if she completely understands this person or even the space or in the context in which she's speaking. So if we try and imagine how her marriage of 14 years could get to a point in which the man goes his own way and she goes her own way, yet what she continuously tries to put across as of value on her part by asking us to check out her profile, and I have seen her profile. She's, let's say for myself, somebody you'd hook up with for 1 or 2 times. But the first time you hook up with her and then you discover the madness that's coming with it, then it's not even worth the second time. Compounding the fact that she has 4 kids and I myself not having any kids and being able to take care of myself and live my life in a way that I enjoy my life every single day. That's too heavy of an investment for a man to make, and her coming back into the market thinking that I'm hot and somebody is going to pick me up. Maybe she thinks.
Did you hear the tone of the voice when she's saying I'm hot? It's like she's telling men, go check me out and then come and simp in my inbox.
Yes, come and validate me. One thing she should know is in her current situation, I believe she's over 30. She's had 4 kids. She's a divorcee. There is no happily ever after. And if there's that possibility of a happily ever after, it's very, very, very slim. So she can keep on being deluded, but there's no happily ever after for her and people in her situation.
All right. Okay. That's chill, Tani. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. I don't want the discussion to degenerate to us talking about Miss Djibouti. I want us to keep it as open as possible. Thank you, chill, Tani.
And Andrew.
Yeah.
If we go back to what Vicky Bay said that when you look at a couple and they have been together for a very long time, and the man has conditioned himself to tolerate this woman, then it turns out the man has been manipulated and completely emasculated. I think Vicky Bay said something very similar to that. And I want to remind you, when today you observed some couples, and when we were going downhill, you mentioned exactly the same thing. And I don't know if you gave that story earlier on, because I just woke up not too long ago.
No, I didn't give the story that I told you when we were going down the hill, or down that cliff, whatever. But it was an observation I made from the couple. Remember the couple that did the whole going down on one knee thing?
Yes.
Yes, and now when Thick Bay mentioned it, that's why I told you, George, I want you to come and listen to this.
Because it's almost as if Vic Bay was with us.
Yep.
When she's giving that point. So, in your own words, just tell the spaces here what you observed and what you told me when we were going down the hill.
All right, for the third time.
Because now it makes more sense after having Vic Bay, put cream on it.
So at the beginning, I started and I said, no, when we're having the discussion with Gift, I said I stayed for 4 years because I was weak. I stayed longer than I should have because I was weak. If I had done it based on what I wanted to do, based on finding out the truth about my relationship, I would have separated with her maybe in 2 or 3 weeks. I think maybe a month. A month would have been it. So today when we saw this guy proposing to this woman, and in his head, it is his idea. In his head. But the person who's coordinating it is a woman. And I kept asking, why is the woman coordinating it if this is the idea of the man? Meaning this guy is being herded. And so as we're going down, I told George, hey, George, I'm making this observation that there's nothing like a strong man in marriage. It's impossible. For you to be in marriage and survive, you have to have been dominated completely by the woman. That's why they say the old marriages were oppression. Because they know oppression. So for you to be in a marriage and for you to have survived in marriage, for someone like Ali to come and say, I've been married for 32 years, it means that the wife sat on him from day one and now she has used him for exactly what she wanted. And the day she's going to be tired of him, she's going to kick him out. Whether it takes 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Whether it takes 14 years, like for this woman who was here earlier. The day she's tired of you and she knows that this guy cannot be manipulated anymore, she's either going to leave you or cause some mayhem. This lady left her boyfriend. Of course, I know there are a lot of lies to what she was saying, but she put it out here like as soon as this guy started hanging out with his single friends on weekends, and she realized that the man was waking up because he has been in this 14-year trance, given her 4 kids, she is taking everything from him. Now he's beginning to wake up. She better leave. God damn. How didn't we see this? Now, George, you also need to realize that while we were discussing, Ngeo came in and gave us the perfect example of a wife in 2022. And do you know how that wife looks like? That wife is the best possible house girl they can get for themselves. She described the perfect wife, and she didn't know it. She was describing a house girl. But to us, all the men around the world who are listening to this space, all we had her describe was a wife. Did you guys hear? Did you hear that shit? That was some crazy shit. Gail described her the perfect house girl, and all the men had perfect wife. That's some crazy shit. Man. All right. Hey, let me hear from Kenya before I go to you, Ngeo. Kenya, are you there?
Yeah, Kibe, I'm right here.
Did you hear Ngeo's description of the house girl?
Yeah, I was listening to it, and wow. And Kibe, the reason even why I picked the mic is because you realize that most of the women that are shouting here, women empowerment and all nonsense, they are the one who mistreat these ourselves. They are the one who do that. They are the leading. And the other thing they don't realize is that niggas don't even care about, I don't know, your education and everything. How many men do you know that you've heard of rumors and you are sure that they are usually smashing those outfits that look, they have their own, that personal look, sort of personal and everything. Because niggas don't care about all these empowerment, this education. Those things don't apply to men. They don't. Whether you're educated or whether you have money. And I've always repeated it over and over. A woman's money, no nigga has any interest in a woman's money. It doesn't add any value to a man. It doesn't. And that's the thing women need to wake up and realize that your money, your degree, it has no value to me as a man. It has zero value to me. That's why you're going to bring that woman that Ngeo was describing. Because of that feminine energy she's giving you, believe you me, Kibe, you will be smashing now. When you're empowered woman, when your empowered woman is busy trying, to fight the corporate wars and everything, you'll be like, okay, go fight my woman. Then you will be having your.
Oh man, yeah.
And I was saying the other day, even when a woman right now wakes up and tells me she wants to pay, we are out and she wants to pay the bill, I'm like, okay, if you think that is going to make you to be very empowered and all the nonsense, go ahead and pay. No, you Bukati or Brock Lesnar, if that is going to make you feel like you fought the whole world because you paid for the energy, just go pay for it. I don't give a fuck. That's the thing men need to know. Your money as a woman doesn't add any value to a man. That is one thing I want to say. Your education, it is not adding any value to a man. It is not. That is something I wanted to point out, Kibe. Thank you for the space.
All right. Thank you, Kenya. All right. Let me hear from Ngeo, then I'll come to you, Paul, and then, yeah. Ngeo, what's up?
Andrew, so when I was describing a domestic worker, I wasn't, it's not because I wasn't aware of what you guys are looking for. I've been listening to your conversations a lot, and I understand, what you guys are looking for. And I knew obviously that, whatever, that's why I said to you, I'm hoping that I'm not going to be in trouble after this because I get blocked left and right. And sometimes I'm not able to join certain spaces because of the truth that I normally tend to share with you guys. Because it's a women's secret, I'm breaking the women's code if there was such, because nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Truth hurts, but it must be told, one way or another. People must know about it so that when they make decisions, they are well informed. So I knew exactly that you guys are looking for somebody like the one that I've just described. But I forgot to mention something else. Do you know when it comes to these girls, there's also an age that has to be taken into consideration? And if I were to ask you to guess, you'll just think that you guys have known all along who you wanted to. Younger women don't want older domestic workers because the older we are, you know how we are, we're going to be telling them, no, ma'am, you don't have to do it this way. This is how you must raise a child. This is how you must handle your men. We become moms. The older domestic workers becomes moms to the wives. So they are not needed. Therefore, the younger ones always go for the younger. You will be told, I want someone who's below 25 or who's below 35, because then you can still control somebody who's younger than you. Somebody who's older than you, it becomes very, very difficult. So when you guys say you want the younger ones because they are for whatever reason, even when it comes to the house helper, the younger ones are more preferred than the older ones. Unless you are an older woman who knows what you want, then you will go for an older woman. But the majority of them, I want age below 30. I don't want someone who's going to be like my mother, or the wife in the house. So I know exactly what you guys are looking for. It's not a mistake. And I know exactly that this is not sitting very well with most women, but it is the truth. And we all know it, and they might not accept it right now. But deep down, we know that's what we prefer. And we know what you want. We just don't want to be those women that you're looking for. Period. Thank you.
Oh.
Andrew. Now, this is gonna go so dark. Remember when we came back from the country club?
Yeah.
We went under the bridge.
Yeah.
And sat there, and we were observing people.
Yeah.
And these are people coming off the boat, women dressed in two pieces. And we went into talking about how emasculated do the men have to be that they have to look at these sexualized bodies of their women and not feel a thing. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, go to the replies of the tweet that I put up. Give Miss Bujuti enough rope and she hang herself. There is a gentleman with a white male's profile photo by the name of Papa D. And Papa D says, the entitlement we keep talking about, putting value on trash. Now, look at the response from Miss Bujuti.